You are welcome back to your favorite morning show in the whole of Ghana. Sorry, na shrine. Eye asem kese so ana yedui. This is the time where we pick a topic and allow our discussants and our reviewers to bring up their views. And also ask you to call in, ask questions, and also to discuss your views as well. This morning we are looking at an interesting topic. Ene asemwa eda epono so weni beje ho se esane se eyeye nyina ye dadwene politics ya ye ayesika to broni kan se monetization of Ghanaian politics. Na sorry call ye na producer eka say MPP primaries ya baso Saturday aspirant ba ko a so say ni sika nyina sane ho it's as the nyina ama delegate. This morning we are going to investigate into why Ghanaian politics all of a sudden has turned into a merchandise. Say ye to vote no ye to ye disika na to. To help me do this discussion first is my brother Peter Wonders, who is a lecturer with the AUCC. Yeah. AUCC. Yeah. All right. Very soon we pray that you move on to the other ranks of your career.
But that's it.
Meaning, baby, you didn't mean mob sono. But wherever you are, we pray that you move forward to the highest of your career.
Also, from say, I know position come on.
Come on,
Masum.
Come on, how are your students?
They are doing well.
Branding for semester is also more branding.
Yeah, jiram gidi. Na meton zafro.
Okay, mate.
Obasraye. YouTube Indians
okay. Meba pa. That is our brother Peter Wonders. We are also expecting another brother Oba Midinidi Ebetudra. But now we are with our indefatigable Peter. Peter, monetization of politics. Ye ka say obi adane amanyosem ana say eye abatu sikasem a e de ne ye pa che. What do we mean?
Ye kan sa na e pa chere say se ya no se woni sika wontimi en contest na se na ko ye sikasem na se sikafo na etumi e contest e ba sa no a ha ye kamaminka bi amammu na se woni sika wontimi enyinam na se woto sa question ma me question mu odu yiye ende e be fefe funwani ase na wanhwe so e be hunu nsaman so ka aha
na saman so ehuma ni
edwane nti nsaman ni wo a e be kata ya ni na ya nde ya mama akomba bi wow sa some question obi sa mi yiwa hu se nde ka se amanyosem adane sikasem a enokure todo te se ne ye sha ase a wo kan ye se obi kura kire se ne sika nyina asan hwe se ya no ivi amanyofo no a omo edi anim se ye nto omo so aba no ebi wo ho no mo na ye omo te se me menka se like a garnish omo da the moto aduane no ani ye wo won a omo wa etire a ye omo business aye ni sika ewuram te wo se beto asafo ye hwe wonim kasa pa na wo kwa ebeyi na ye disika be pia
ye beba ho na fitiase de na mpese mi hu ne farabai adepote. What really is the monetization of politics? Ekobane we are not really looking at partisan politics ebia Ghana politics nkwa na mu
kura se ade bade mi nua na kire se meka se amanyofo no suban ya mo da na die se ye to aba mo mu wie bosomi miensa bosomi nsia ne mo da na die no obi anim se sika ho
okay
nipa na bia o hye coat fa nya to ma no ana ne coat asesa na car dem kwa okokọ na car tire 2 no a friend saying V8 na ne kasa asesa okoso a wonte ne nka na animunyam a ewom any contract gia ewom ni enwuma epiefi mu ba people think say their perception is that a hono ede na wokọ a wudi yiye etimi so mekoma di yiye eyise nyama ye biara metumi mawura ho no meye
okay
ena ni ono efele se oto abana ma ono nim se wokọ a onte nka biem
and Joe straight
meje wa hayi and wokọ and atikatika wokọ man to nka biem de a and toje wa enti de wokọ kwaje no meje wa ha enti won so a wo pesa atumi no wonim se wantua enya de o meto so aba enti you be forced to also pay them
okay
yeah quite student politics we paid
yes
me ya Jamie
me
no da
hot na me be your hot na
ya Jamie enti ana me so dem go financier
okay
at that level no na me go financier ono so time atia otua
Peter yenhwa de ye bedre suko akọ partisan politics national politics but let's take it from where the whole thing starts from. Baby now say a school at your core, especially universities, no honor denisha see free. Say SRC president that. Give me a rundown to your elections. Who were the financiers? Because if your school ni seek away. How did it happen?
Okay. Your the school mo ba. Ye wo yankasa ankura students ni bia na omotomodu.
Okay.
Obi be school no nankasa wo de nsa no nyuma dansa na oba so the university ebi mo nyinyin wo mo ankasa wo musika enti me mo example na me wa a lady bia ofre me say ono op position back will be public relations officer na obetua me sika pudu obi na me mfa contest me wini a sa post no pay no eden ope na sa post no pay our constitution you know na obe part of the cabinet SRC executive no nti ono no ya nto no so aba nso ka cabinet no na e say president oje oha onso waje bia
enti business na no
business na no de ohwem enti na me so bi pesika no because na me ho nya de me ka ba after scheme na me fa campaign na opese ohunu me chances of winning and so this can say dey ama me enti me na me so bi hu say me chances na ko high no man yi sika no bi
okay
into who said no ya caught runoff me womu me so me di akota for opacha me this come to the baby but wasika wo aside that na me say wo bi so time achi a no so wasika ne ebo an say na me sika bi da nchen
ani ma me say
no me sika one say fa ko to ma me ana branche na me sika na ya dollars
okay
and on na me ba ye no de be gu so tie lu so ye di aka so ye say no na ni gu we di gu so enti eno na ebo aya ye wini ye enti wini ye no me so be na to baby ya de eye inside anta
na otua back there
wo say
otua sika ne back
otua sika ne back
okay ni ma me sika na sa na ne ko
back and enu ati no so no ye be hu say political parties no so no NDC MPP and CPP those days
actually okay ye hwe na ye ma 𝗪𝗫𝗃𝗁𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗁𝗪 our brother 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗁𝗪 has joined us. He is in black this morning, and for obvious reasons. 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗁𝗪's father has kicked the bucket. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Papa Shandov Nankasa. Papa Shandov Nankasa. Senior, yes, Senior Shandov. Or some Macedonia suffer no. And enche bia na ye ba be ye na ye na me ma akwa be na ye di tudwa na ye nyina ya ma your brother Yako. Welcome. How is the preparation to the funeral?
Oh, everything
and
is
steady. And the answer on camera from Uncle Chi.
Oh, Friday.
Just Saturday full Sunday. We end everything.
Okay.
So that's the arrangement.
So more about face, so more Sunday, about Okay. So this Friday,
yes, exactly.
The body will be received.
Yes.
So this coming Friday.
That's fine.
This coming Friday, the body, I'm sure, will be received into the family house, and then about chukusum na agbele na ye sure cause software about agbele na and then from there I understand there will be hymns sing a few hymns sing a few hymns to elogize them, and on Saturday he will be brought into the Macedonia society and a funeral service will be done. Sunday ngba
wafune winiba
oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Jahazi.
Okay. Jahazi.
That means winiba, but wafule Jahazi. Benke is very close. Oh, I understand fancy. Yes, that when I'm speaking, I have to calculate it, but I understand it perfectly. Perfect.
I follow a guy. Oh, fancy tomorrow. Oh, okay. So by this, let's say hello to Nana Jahazi, the �𝗓𝗓𝗁 of Jahazi. He's a very good friend. Nana, wherever you are watching from, you will see me this Saturday because I'm coming to the funeral. When I finish, I'll pass through 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 to greet you. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us. We know you are mourning, but duty calls. Yes. So we have been discussing monetization of Ghanaian politics, and I was asking Piero here, what really is monetization? I don't know what your views are, but what is monetization? Kake akeshikamwo party mi alo shiku for me mini jinaka nuchumo.
Okay, once again, good evening to you. Of course, good morning.
Yes.
To yourself and
to you it's good evening because you are morning, so it's fine.
Good morning to you, yourself and your listeners. As for the issue of money politics, it's one of the things that anytime I have the opportunity to talk about, it's more careful. I don't want to blame the politicians at all.
Okay.
No. I always want to take it squarely from the people. Okay, because what politicians do is normally a reflection of the desires of the people.
Okay.
What the people want is what the politicians would also do. So a simple scenario, if I am a politician and both of you are voters, and we are having a delegate election, for example, and I come with this mobile phone, I mean a brand new one, I come and give it to my brother, and I give you another one, and the both of you are angry, you sack me, you tell me that no, we are not going to accept any gift, no incentive, just come and tell us your policy. What do you think I'm going to do? I'll now go and sit down, I'll think about policies, I'll now think about something that can actually develop the nation, and I'll come and convince you on the back of that document. But if I give it to you, and then you receive, and subsequently you go and vote for me, I will now get the message that, okay, I can incentivize you to cast your ballot in my favor. So in that analysis, who are we even supposed to blame? Is it the politician or the voters? It's the voters. So for me, I have never condemned the politicians before. In I'm a few because I'm making all the time they are giving.
And giving is difficult.
It's difficult.
So it's not even,
yes, I mean if imagine, look at this Saturday, the NPP will be going for their parliamentary primaries and all of that. We would hear the stories, of course. Cash will be, all of that. But if the people are not receiving, would the politicians give in the very first place? So if the people are receiving, it presupposes that, well, of course, then the people have that appetite. So when we have to discuss that issue, I think it's an attitudinal problem. Let's look at the thinking of the voters. They are more inclined to receive, and that's why the politicians give. But there's another coin to it. The reason they also take is that they feel that the whole governance structure or the political class has not benefited them. So if I vote for you to become president within your term, I may feel like, I don't get anything. So this is the period of election is where I can actually reap, and that is why they also take advantage of it. Okay, so maybe that would be like their justification, but for me, I don't think it's justification enough. If we really want to do with this issue in this election, 2024 and every other poll, we must be very determined to say that, look, right now we are assessing the competence of candidates, their track record, their philosophies and everything that can inure to the benefit of the country. If we can see that, we are not voting. But then again, the Bible says money answereth all things. So even if we decide in our hearts, we purpose in our hearts that no, we will not do evil, we will not take money, and you are there, like myself, I want to give an example. If I were a delegate in the constituency, okay, I'm bereaved. Of course, funerals come with expenses, and then somebody wants to be MP, and the person calls me, Shandov, the election is this one. I have some 30,000 there for you, and what? Will I come and grab in the, so sometimes too, it's the reality of the situation. People do not have, people are not working, people don't have money. 30,000 and just go and vote for me. Why would you?
Okay,
you know,
we'll come to the substance. We'll come to the. But let's come to Peter. Peter, you were helping us with student politics, and how you yourself marshaled people to come and pay money in order to win. For some family, oh,
I want to cover that. They do me so. Some family coming. Okay. What we say? Me what level 100 now. Me contested for public relations officer for my department. Okay. That's Art Society. Art Society. Okay. Yes. And before me content crow. Okay. There were other people, but after vetting, I wanted to toy. And I was saying, could you imagine that when me go to grow for class, me come and no some class, no, even investigate. They will not vetting. After that, you are vetting me. Okay. One more talk by email, voters.
Okay. You need a certain percentage.
Oh no. Me one come and film. But then, for me to even campaign to them, they were not ready for my campaign. But they told me, Master, what the okay at the LBM myself when I got to you got my head. Oh, nipa say on pema num sem nya me ba me yo but some to me talk you got to know
Peter, let me just add an experience. When I was running for SRC president, University of Ghana, I'm not boasting. There was no lecture hall I didn't address that students didn't get up to clap for me. I remember in one econs class, when I finished the lecture address, they actually came to lift me. So I thought, oh, okay, about where there power means I'm going to. There were two other candidates who were not propagating any message. Even when we had presidential debates, they didn't show up. The last two presidential debates, they didn't show up. We had a radio interview on one of the popular stations in Accra and all of that. They didn't come. What they were doing was that, so when they moved to the halls and the JCL presidents and all of that, they come, okay, you're having a sports. You're having a sports weekend. So they bring you bags of water. They give the sports boys yogurt, and that was it. They won the election. So those of us, for all the 2 times I attempted, just to not to brag, but just to indicate that I was an ideal candidate. I topped all the 2 veterans. When we go on radio and everything, everybody said, "Oh, as for Shandov there, oh Shandov." But when it comes to the Shika, we don't have the money. And on the day of election in Legon, we have what we call sweeping. Sweeping is when students have closed from lectures. Maybe 100 students are coming. Okay, they have just closed. They are going to their halls. You need people with money to drag them. Tell them that, Charlie, this is the place, so let's go. And when you are sweeping, you need money. Yes. You can't sweep with your mouth. Oh, do you remember Shandov? Look at you at the end of the day. If you don't have money on the day of, so a student leader in Legon, for example, if you want to win an election, on D-Day, you need about 70,000 Ghana cedis. And that's not an exaggeration, or even more, because if you have to bus people, but if you don't do it, forget about your competence. Yeah. So I agree. At the student level too.
Let me throw this. Mr. Producer, our SRC president who is in the KNUST, the Methodist young lady who is at KNUST, if we can get her on the phone to share her experience on how she won her election, because I'm wondering now, did she really put in money? Did she have that amount of money? We want to be able to have some concrete evidence from the campus. And since she is on campus now and still an SRC president, if you can do that for me, I'll be very glad. But let's continue.
I know her, Yvonne.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I am. Back then at my former workplace, Joy News, I used to host a program, Joy Campus. Okay. So Joy Campus was just going to the various campuses and then reporting on events and all of that. I followed that election very well. Okay, if she comes to say that there was no money. After the conversation, I'll text her and say, Madam, the year just started. You are lying. yeah. That's what it was. And you see, it's not about you. Even if you decide not to do it, the system would compel you. Okay, it's the way the system has become. So if you go to Tech, for example, of course, you have the traditional halls.
Shandov, you promised to take only 2 minutes of your time.
30 seconds. If you go to Tech, for example, you have
his 5 minutes to yours.
If you look at all the traditional outfits, it is money. If you want the boys to come out and do morale, as we call it for you, they can't come and on empty stomach. So even if you say you want to be a pious politician, you won't give anybody money. The system will compel you to do it. So it's a structural problem. I'll be surprised if she says she didn't give anybody.
So we'll wait for her to see that the woman also used money, even if not by her, the systems, as you said. But let's go back to UW and see how those who gave the money benefited. That is what makes it business. So because me the ship, no me nyamfa. So next time me find ship. And how did they benefit as president? Then I am
how they benefited from?
Yes, from you.
Oh yeah. Oh. We anybody send the name also. South Campus, North Campus. Most of the summer had to see there. It was my innovation.
No, not what you did for the school.
For the school, yeah.
But what your financiers
benefited.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because you said
oh yeah. So the NCN said some of them I traded positions with.
Okay.
Some of them, after they fell off from the race, they joined my team. So we promised them of juicy positions, of which we gave. And my main financier was, I wouldn't mention his position so that no one will know who he was. He was also given a very juicy position that he also benefited from the juicy
So
position.
does that mean he's going to get his money back?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. The constitution allows you like your welfare, which comprises of maybe paying of a part of your fees. The SRC's fees, I think 100% was paid, and the vice, I think 80 or 90 or 70%. I've forgotten about 10 years ago, 14 years ago now, so I can't remember. And then the other executives also had some, I think 70% and all that. And that person was also part of the executive committee, and for that matter, by 80% you get your money. And aside that, maybe monthly they give you some small allowance and all that. So from that you'll be able to
I think this reminds me, for one of the years, I printed your SRC t-shirts and Grassack t-shirts.
Okay.
And this was brought to me by a middleman.
Yeah.
So I am very sure.
You can just imagine.
That this middleman was enjoying from a certain benefit or otherwise.
Yes.
Okay, so we are establishing the fact that this whole monetization thing begins from our schools. Because
that's correct.
80% of our politicians.
I wouldn't mention of a university. Before the end of the first semester, he has squandered over 30,000 during my era.
Who has squandered?
The president.
Oh.
In another, not my Widiba, a different university who's just already mentioned because of he has squandered about 30,000 Ghana cedis, and they were chasing him.
Why?
And those days, 14 years ago, 30,000 Ghana cedis wasn't small money.
Yes. Yeah.
Even today.
And I'm asking why.
He has squandered it. So
the Tuitia debtors.
Oh no, I was in the cash. I was saying, and even over there, they had their SRC. Let me say, like a castle. Your mom dying. They were well established than even Winneba. So and he said, and when to me, I think he was not able to graduate.
Wow.
As a result of that,
the school said
because of Sanya Maniaman didn't home Ekojibu. And Pembe no, what says as King you will find a way to recoup your money. Because you don't say mommy yam vaso. And there be a contract of free. It is there. And no tertiary institution in Ghana here because Sabio Kotoba, even posters are about those days Winneba say you always say your North, South, Central campuses Anina Ashakonu Vinfini. And the students also scatter throughout the whole town. And there was some area be our poster. In those days, about 4,000 posters are over pretty students when I'm going to scanner. Over principal posters. Then I want to say a trust animal. A more black and white in this animal. Over here banner, by here posters, now flyers, and on Quaniba, posters are for Cromoni in campus, baby, just to sell your face.
Okay.
In 2009, we campaigned from Winneba to Kaneshi. Hey, we lost. My candidate lost. You should be a bomb,
You mean your
who said? Your makwan bia, I was students ever feed. I don't want to have carnation ever. Into the campaign of a general train.
Satana wo we.
That be some before me so company mo be na me so me share
now we do.
me so me share and to no see na mu ne so ye. And the following year I changed all the tricks na me so me to me win here. So looking at us company from we Bafaka do Accra. I would gina bus stop our company. Would do a big look was the load or the background on Twinty or something. And she also has a toy bully pie. Yes, I'm going to mean Mulu. So, and the car election, Yama a election more a dozen. Okay. Unisika to a dream.
So that is why I'm coming to. Therefore means say the Ghana Unisika election unto me kumu and you can't even stand. Or put yourself up. And let's now come to partisan politics. And then at this time, we are not being necessarily partisan. We know all the political parties. But we also understand that this whole idea of monetization cuts across even the lesser political parties. What, in your opinion, do you think has caused this monetization? Yes, what can? The part of the electorate or no penny seeker because okwa won't feel. But what do you think is the main cause? Is that the only cause? Yes. Oh, Peter, I mean,
Kafra.
Me say me mouth time
ni na. Kabro for nti say stand up now. Kabro for say no. Now do kabro for me say ya. Me no stand up na.
Me the opening na me jama na.
Me the can say, one will say animonyam a ewo ayitumidie mu. So obi a pre say mekobi niema nkrofo etua sika no me kom menya nimonyam me ko so menya sika me kom so a me wo adamudie so a menya na ekwaya mefa so me wura mu ne se e wo se me kom obi eto me so aba oto me so tonto ana tonto to no so no nipa no ogina no nimisa no de ni ko gina kra ye nto no so aba na kwa ukoi kura kwa ohunu obiem ana bebre no taka se ato ba ma osimazie ma na wini MP ekwa ye hu ne biem election so na ye de yete ne nka nti ne sa nti no e wo se me so oba abeje no ma nyi no so kwa se ne mabu ada what am I no
we have on the line Dr. Richard Amwakumba, formerly of the KNUST Political Science Department. Doc, Yamwakwabo
Bejimuso
Doc Nampombo ko de
o nyame adom ye ho ye
yeda wasepa danu ye no di nkomo de pa e wo WTV so ene ye je wadwen kire esane say Ghana yem politics no aye sikasem na mene emrantie mienu bi wa ha mu nyina akọ SRC contest dan wo mo kase wo mo kura no wo mo campus no sikapudu wo mo di wura mu so mu nyina asoso na wo mo ye ehiafo pa na wo mo school. What was your own experience when you were in school?
Oh, me work here university no. I'm here head of department. We don't can me keep forceful argument, but one man so students to cry. And you see allow more expensive campaigns, sir.
Okay.
It's a form of corruption. All my school was a mobile campaign. Almost by some bishandi. And then there was a decline. You have to have some student leaders. And in certain amount, you can't go beyond that. And so campaign and the war was when you spend to that limit, and then but the powers that be will be happening. Because any students don't come, Penifoni be scanning. And the mass students make it scanner. No one's a white cram. Then the piano prepare.
Oh, I see. It is students in the Sikano bomb who are a young penifone was school nimbi nusunya sikanibi. Wow, I'm hearing this for the first time.
I wonder this kind of mass students. And do you know we are arrangement now? No, I'm sure they would have. A
pure business.
Business. And the morals and that woman there will be out here.
Wow. And this is what has escalated, or better still has ascended into national politics. I say, Sikasem ye nyi otwe ye yadwa obiara MPPO, NDCO, CPPO, even independent candidates are throwing money about. In your opinion, as a political scientist, na akofasa ade aba.
I will hold that, but Ukraine 2016 election, and a man dear near Bassa.
2016.
No back so after that, Akosrosa na fede after Mukra teacher said, okay, election now Niska and a trial baby.
2016 DNC a chamfonini kakrama. What is it that happened in TMA Ekobasa?
On the election now yet in power, especially for ruling government, And to nature say, or some year be extraordinary discover them. Over here now, I'm telling you, sir, with authority. MP snippy or Amoko Giskawa and this one. Menitria.
Wow.
What you are saying. And to nature says, Sicano as a sunny padre near the Brabo, a Binu Crani woman a committee anaju. What you say, Kumasia meeting, I saw it. Because Anaju bet to have more packing a car or no more if you're a day now, you know. Yes, you say, oh, yeah, and this need be few. No more meeting. Like I said, it's mature red-handed, but by implication, the nature says there's something going on. I can point to several MPs, prominent MPs, and the one year, any people who are now almost expected to be because you were implicated in that. But there's more than a dean, so. And there are no bars, and jeans, they come running for national government, I think it's 2018. And I do to overcome my campaign. Secondary school no more.
Okay.
Me my year home me come fancy because in fancy on phone on boy no way almost in fancy never. Na me no come fancy din also I dog yata see. In there ya tipa ne mo pescabra yeska.
Now contesting for them position.
Yeska.
Ne contesting for them.
Ono ba so be penny dwetua ko mani ne wife education. Okay, so because omo to aba ni ya wo obi ampi. Oh. It's here this here. Dan akoye. MPs no ta no mo aye. You fe no hu dia Genesis here. And it say wo ton ande no. Uji wi a on fi wa on tran baby. Oh. So, and you say every cycle be 4 years bia no. Dana omo nyina akoye. Ya gi ya DSC here. San mo wole. Because you're from a movie.
I see. And Doc, do you think, said this whole canker is from the electorates now? Omo kwa to abano. Omo na ama ban size and said their demands to a year politicians see ana ama kobanesa so the highest bidder no anu obefa.
Well, and yet just omo kwa you know I can who MP. Now, so I near coin. MP is in your near coin. So, and you go catch on say MP Yamna Mea Coin, I do now. And the other Copeska be na ye coin cacra. Will you be taught I say? Or go fast than him. Or go bobusia, or bar, or so Genesicaba. Whether watching you pay an answer, and unti contract a baba, Mfaka crankahu, Mfaka crankahu, Mfaka crankahu, there cosa. And to most people are very prominent. MPDC, Nina, the chance to get at the possibility of making some money. That way, legal. That's what I say. And most people are more position. Yes, or yeah, do. When your opportunity to steal money. And that's what it is.
Wow.
And unfortunately, in penny for people, almost names are. I want to mean because I know more in a way, no one's yet. Now, if you better walk be there, you want your slow and near care not to miss you. And the people now catch us to come home. Go home. Go to about near Chemo, oh, the concum you near check. Oh, here no soon. And the neck round him the other day. And they are going about sitting a more concum with young one. No, the fun is around 5-6 account. That is what is going on. As long as the economy near that bad, they will not go away.
Wow.
The local country are more, the economy, now, country will be say, on to Obama, as much in our man, $1,000. And you move a fool. Because no, I bet when you're asking, no, I bet over problems. What are you called by report?
Oh, very way. So, Doc, so how do we then explain leadership now? Does that mean, say, leadership now has been affected? Esan say we do not have quality. Esan say the oba no kotoye na waba. Is that one of our challenges?
Yeah, no crap, because Sikana Bamusa. Now, it's just invariable. No, onya omo numa dear pa, omo ya dear pa, no, omo to me minimum because on iska.
Okay.
No, to the always canon a baby anymore. And just on him yanka, and just all your papa. So, say, yes, sample no opinion yansa no be anymore. Obi always got kind of cheap. And into on when you're on also say, your eternity, you know, or being a scadia man. It's just a contract.
Wow.
Into the give the Fabia, Sikana best say again.
I bet
Say that bon some no was Sikano more. They say, Hono Wakoche. Sikano young people need now be a pisca.
Obia de Nwajim. Obia. Doc, finally.
Sorry. Now make you more running for MP. Who running for MP? Or your minister also running for MP because when say I'm here and as the party news I know and then Parliament is there, say hold you can no be you.
Yeah.
This is MP, almost minister, deputy minister, or running for parliament. I think what to be that. This is why. A short banker.
Doc, finally, as a former lecturer of a political science department of the sort of KNUST, what should be a policy that government must put in place in order to mitigate some of this in the future?
So let me say, student election, say a cut in the show, because there is no reason why you say a more corruption. It's just almost starting and get one on their before, and they know that we have to stop it. They didn't go to school to run for elections. They went to school. I'm telling you, I had some students, I'm only 8 students on call. They are dear pass and they tell me or the student politics. And the own Siandino, one day, or the Namusa, all my classes too. That's why I didn't think, or young Rajuvan or Coco Hindos Kakra, no, I pass no call baby. No, I pass a call. Nipank or Bayard dear pano, on any time. It's a selection, one or he starting few. Any young people in free. In free corruption, and standing about national government.
Yeah, international government. So in terms of policy, now where the 4 year do the next 4 years, should the next government do something so that policy-wise, this monetization of Ghanaian politics, the chat to cry. Your last comment.
Possibilities in here, baby. We have to look for some individuals now you gather them together. Then you can't want them. Policy be a bind by banner. There should be another agency, a local at it. I only necessarily a bind. So I say, no much me advise a bind say, Koya or Mecca. So there should be civil society group here. Someone I recommend the closure of Santana. It should be closed. According to the constitution. It should be written in the law. Okay, I say one more example. And you say I allow for any government who will last year in office to do any new project. What I say, we shouldn't, unless it's an emergency. Not parliament approved by 2/3 majority. There can be such emergency. But so one yes sir, no one will free officer. That's you can only be sir. After no by a project agility or so what I say. The air course you need to project be air battle. Yet they can't. Now, no, my, emergency, idea here, he said, no, but they are doing it because that is how they get some of the money. Young person be bonti,
that was Dr. Richard Amoakoba. He was the former head of department of the Department of Political Science at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Doc, you better as say, Abribia, you was so humana, so. My 2 gentlemen, let me go to Shandov now. Were you induced by any political party? Were you approached by any political party whilst you were campaigning?
Absolutely. All political parties have interest at the student level.
Okay.
Because of the trajectory. This is how it happens. When you start from the student level and you finish, I can cite a lot of examples. More often than not, you complete school you get to work as an aide to a politician or a parliamentarian or something, the person grooms you. In the next 2, 3, 4 years, you come back to your constituency, and the grooming is not just building your mental capacity. They'll resource you. If there's some opportunities and all of that, especially if they're in power, they'll give it to you. So by 4 or 5 years, you start looking like a big man in your own rights. Then you come in, then you also can go to your constituency, start doing 1 or 2 things. The next thing we are seeing on social media, blah 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 is coming. Before you realize he has come, he too has become an MP or something close to that. So there is a plan. So because of the plan, all political parties have interest. So whether you want to align or you want to delineate yourself, somebody will by all means approach you. That one there, you can't do away with it. And in the University of Ghana, in particular, Legon, if you don't align, count yourself out of the election. Okay. Because everybody will be talking, and this is the term, apolitical. I'm apolitical. I'm for the student interest. Anybody who says it's for the student interest in an election, for example, at the University of Ghana, is telling lies. Anybody. And in recent times, I have been very angry with a lot of people. Some of my colleagues. I've been angry with them in the sense that back then, a lot of them used to say that, I am apolitical. I don't belong to any political party. Don't tag me with NDC. Don't associate me with MPP. Now they finish school and then we are seeing them in their offices. Some of them are now wearing their campaign T-shirts and it annoys me because the dishonesty there was so thick. They could swear by their lives that they didn't belong to any political party, but they leave and then the story is different. So yes, they approach you. Now, when they approach you, the terms are always very simple. When you win the office, you have to use your powers to, if it's an opposition party that is approaching you, you must condemn the ruling government. If it's the ruling government, you must do everything in your power to mute what the opposition is saying. So we are in 2024. If NPP approaches any student leader in the upcoming general election, that person is supposed to just throw spanners into the works of the NDC's campaign. So if the NDC brings out a campaign policy on education, you as the SRC president of the nation's premier university stage a press conference and say that no, this thing doesn't make sense, blah blah blah. Even if it makes sense, that's what you're supposed to do. Now, if we reverse it, okay, so if an NDC the NDC also approaches a student leader, you're also supposed to ensure that anything the NPP will say, you take energy out of it. So they approach with a lot of money, they approach with job opportunities, but why? You are from a very poor home, you're a student leader. The election cry, you will not even win at the end of the day. A politician tells you that, look, come and do my bidding. When you are done, your national service placement is secure. You're secured. Your opportunities to go and do your masters in London, blah blah blah. They'll give you all of those offers. What are you going to do? And maybe on another occasion, I'll give you specific, accounts, stories of how people were compromised. Look, they knew they were doing the wrong things, but they had been given offers, they had been given a lot of guarantees and promises and all of that. That's why some of us, we don't even respect them. When we see that they have passed out, they're in the law school and all, we don't respect all of those things because we know how they got there. They compromised, they acted against the interest of the students to fund their scholarships and get their, opportunities to travel outside. So we don't even, and we know, but maybe at the right time, we'll talk about some of these things. So as for the politicians, they would come at you. They would by all, look, sometimes the cause even come from the seats of power. Sometimes, when it becomes very crunchy like that, you have, the proper big men, not their assigns and functionaries. So the real big men come in and say that, Charlie, come to the table, let's have this conversation. Secret meetings, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. People are coming. It's a big thing. So they come.
Wow.
They come.
Let's hear from UW. You are far away from Accra. Winnie Bafo.
Dr. Eka Asimbia. Ɔkyerɛ sɛ wɔ school mu hɔ no na mpanyinfoɔ mo da school na ne bi mu nya mfasoɔ but Winneba na nte saa. Okay, there was nothing like that again. Sɛnea Aminia Shandoff ɛka no, unfortunately for me, din no na ɛha me kɛseɛ wɔ hɔ paa. Nneɛma me wini kɛseɛ was bidika tɔn me home from level 200 me send the text messages me tɔn till today the brain ɛtɔ ba me no mu nim anim na me din na mu nim ɛna sɛ wonim sɛ na Akufo do ɔmanpanyin ba yɛ ɛna ɔbɛkyekyɛ regions no mu ntia kameka sɛ nkame me fifira mountain voter region nti me din Peter Wonders no me kwa wɔnafo no mu a wonder me call Asante Fomu can come na me so
one what okay so you can come na combination
enti me so me kan kakra
okay
na me te nzema light one binye se kese sa ana me ka se na krobo no so be sa na nkran nti gan dangbe no so no me hia mo so me timi bo so kakra ana guan no so na me te kakra me timi e de dan na wo se wo language so
okay
enti sa ade na ebo ame but me so na political party and the amboame it's answer na NDC for no fellow say MPP ni is because of many Asante for nam and Asante for say oh akwai ni wonder yi ye hwe ni ye pa ba ya NDC ni etimi ndi amboame me mbo me implicate party bia ba na me wini wie no na party bi di sika soma ye say yem famre na me ka jiro mo say no me contest no obia mama boami ma wi na wi afa na discover benefit omo now mo say oh scared by you it is say it is not exactly what because to you and somebody can abra me you na so mundi musika ento bi asika ma wi na wi nti ma me political party bia ni wa on best sponsor me and say we kwan bia so be mia no mukasa ni adwenkese ene ekwan a nyame adom ya mitumi kakasa hodo ene ma me a etumi mi hia nkranfo na me no kankran mi hia we no nte na dibu a me kase pa mitumi ewi ni ye ena doctor anso kasa no osa kan say say corruption samia ye betumi aye school ye kono o say ti ye so ye GPA so ene kure they affect me pa
oh okay
affect me papa kase pa because for like 1 month kwana me go lecture
hey
I will say winning by a top anamawa would the president will win it by me unfortunately for me unfortunately no me na me first as president me D president I make sure school campus are 4 so all the other ones no more 3 very 4 winning by main ejumako Kumasi Mampong Kumasi and Mampong were president but you become the unified SRC president so you move through all these campuses so anytime a vice chancellor move for any program no SRC president must go and once you are also unified no echo one out the seat of government one and echo your committee be a council meeting tender board na bukom you and the amount of council lecture no so and we say we president into one manager hall and go and so it really affected my GPA and the class make I say besi no ya ha me kakra say so ba ne santie ho na Dr. Kai no won so me no eye adwen kase pa ebiam emra ye wo eye SRC no na make I say we were affiliated to NUCS and then USAG na NUCS and USAG no bedum pempen so bi be won say na be da na a political party a omo papeti like ne doctor ne miniation of airken na aban bia presa na amanyo kuo bia presa ni pe be wini say ne obekasa in favor of the political party and until na both the school for kwaya ne kura ewu e wa amanyo se mo bia kura mfa ne kura anya hwe biem use kasa and carry weight grasa kasa and carry weight as also book kasa kura nko be kosi be bia demonstration kwa kasa kwa bia feel because you are towarding and obi anu se ka se kwa ya to nyina adwene nti no o ka se bia o mu se political party bi na ebia pia wachi nti I think say eno no so no edi yenya ama e democracy na se kabima nka bi no atochema kakra eno na menua kan ye de foro eba ye national politics enti ye chechrew kan se ne se utuba nyini abaye ayi appointrene no na woni akwose appointrene enti wo beka se ne agosua ba nyina no ya tell say ne wo beka safa ye aka ne se enti wo so ba ya eno na wo so ye de wo ka de nyankopon na se utim ne osua hu na agosua nyina no na efiri wonsa I think say eno ne ade a wo se ye hwe ni yiye ana Dr. Saka biom say was here say you betwa ye ko school mo ya ma wo say ye besua de ya ma wo say ye politics ye ba wo say besua de ho no de em say me na ye nya adwen wo ho na nyina ka osua hu no ane adesua no ho say enya politics da me ko ye yanka na me ka say me tetere mampo entrentre e wo kasa ho saa na dodo no a omo nso go school a omo de omo ko share school amanyosan mu no ane bebe no a omo ye oman akandifo woyi menua honorable Okujeto Ablakwa. Honestly, no, Luke's president. We Honorable Haruna Munina, almost for
say politicians, there's almost everybody, almost investor system, almost. One year crop JCR secretary, something.
And it's a one for behind one. I bet the Nia more. You say be a one and Pesha so. Kasamu I de atene and son will be a piano, but one way you won't be in no. A moye a year a candifua. Na school one way or the other no, or moody school, quala enim, and only a dear a bois I to do the honor make us a many honor doctor. Yes, should I drink as yes, but your kind dear, Mimano Bruce.
All right, Shandoff, let's pick your view on this. Is it a case of the Ghanaian culture where you want money because you have done something?
That is for the voters.
No, I'm also, now we've looked at the schools, let's go back to culture. If your car needs a push and people push you, they want something from you. If people are patching the pothole, they want something from you. Is it a case of our culture where you want something from somebody once you have done something? Even the chief priest, money for to find you. I mean, he still wants something from you. Meanwhile, you claim you are the one who has the power. Is it a case of culture?
Absolutely. Earlier, I made the point that all of this is monetization of politics, is attitude now. Okay, it stems from how we were raised and how we think. Okay, so we have the orientation that when somebody, like you're rightly saying, when somebody does something to you, you must show appreciation, and the appreciation cannot be passive. It shouldn't just be in mere words. It should have some kind of substance attached to it. So I agree. There is an element of culture there. There is some cultural influence, how we perceive things. Gestures in a part of the world have never been free. It just doesn't happen. You see, and in the case of the politicians, it happens more because, you see, they too, we can fault them. When they are elected into office, when they have the power and all of that, in their tenure, they normally would not do anything meaningful for anybody. Okay, so because they wouldn't do, people are thinking, okay,
let me open my phone lines and then we can continue. 025-625-3461. 025-625-3461. The phone lines are open. Ashafo ye bie telephone no. Work belly telephone agbene. Call taotra ni obi question. Allo oko na bu awo neke monetization of politics me o find e one ultra. The year can say Ghana yamanyoyo yamanyosem nyinara ayesi kasem na esukufo bi kane ebi ko SRC president ebi ko SRC secretary etete ha omoso sikapuduo na manfo de be share wo machi a ebi kra aka se omunyamfa so ebi so nyamfa so and yes
say kantama BBC a o say be come say night o say be ka say now for me brother ento mama o say o no I why not talk about
yes ga
o sa ko bi o sa no so
yes ga yes ga if you don't have money nobody is going to vote for you.
Now ubisa question be says adesrede your culture and say it's part of our culture. Okay. Oji tum say the see many you shand of it if you see me coming banku. Oh, epa but moko ho. Oh, enchene ho. Mama kan mangu maduani yi so. Well, we want to depend on someone else. And no na emma say ade eba.
Manya honorable be queen.
Yes sir.
Honorable.
Honorable.
Lower volume no mami. Lower volume no netie hu of phone mu. Afa mi tie. Honorable kasa.
Yo. Honorable Christ nti.
Yeah, adeshe.
Abomo.
Nyame adom.
Honorable Ghana politics ni ska 7 there. Enye sisi me be twa.
Meto nkasa.
Esi Ghana politics is kasem de nya de betro. Even assembly member, if you village committee crash him no. O contest here nya asem ketwa o.
Hey.
Nya asem ketwa.
Now experience to say share your experience. What do you to say?
The community committee.
Because we need committee and sana me call assemblyman.
Okay.
Also for any assembly kitwa. Sika pa when tuaye whatever project in isi was isia. Or a do so abaka jiro se winning projects. When tuaye nto ma. The Ghana politics ni sika assembly there. I say you nyina ye hwe. I say you nyina hwe. Go we usika so na e beto abom. Usika so aye nto ma. The whole Ghana enye one area. And you want MP and I say even unit committee crash evening. I in Chubia Kaye Mobia Shin or contest ya or community begging scans out to a mom. You know, that's a say Shepana Yankan was in ye.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Honorable Bekwe, yeah, that's it. If you also have an experience in such issues, please, let's hear you. Fireman! Enkawo fire ni anko.
Midama sipadi mapa moye. But topic amu pitino anapa we no mi boma baso.
Yeah, that's
because ye bibia me no de bia mi kan watem. Politicians no ye to aba mo mo a. Omu fi ye biom. Edu for years dia no ma ba enchen. So no man no vote.
okay.
So to me no there. One man fireman scapa dia ba dia me mfu mawo.
Hey!
Oh yes, I will not vote for you.
Fireman, who you delegate, Anna?
Okay.
Who you delegate?
I'm not a delegate.
Okay.
Me me a Ghanaian.
Okay.
So it's my right for me to vote.
Okay.
But now voting, you know, I just say politicians no move for anything. So as a fireman, there, one man is with them into a back. And it will shock you. This year, many people will not vote because of what they are doing, you know. How can I vote for you? We MP. Now we roll the glass. On the top of him cry. Now we expect to me vote him out. One man is carrying me vote him out. I'll tell them. And when they come to me, I'll fire them. Because that's on fire on the professional way. You more fire.
All right, more fire, more fire. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Francis.
Yes, please.
Also, so what
Yes,
is your
please.
experience?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, Francis Nyame from Gomua Achiase. Gomua Mansu Circuit in the Winba Diocese.
All right.
Lady, asem we de asem a eye din na abeye kanka sese yetu ho anamo na ne amemi hu ne se
Yeah.
Mpenimfo no a yeto abama won no wobedi so wi a nya esese wo ye de ma omanfo na ema omanfo abrabo ani mpuntu koso no wo hu enti sesa na tie dia ene obi ba nso obema me 10 cedis na ja media yeda kronkwan na media mefa ne saa enti saa na ya na abeye amamra se culture enti sisi ya yekase edidia fa bebia wo hwe Ghana yensu e wo Ghana nyina ya sei no aso nkrofo ni ho a wo bo ho ban nkrofo ni ho a wo bekasa ho ana nti saa na akoye nti obi hye bebi onya kakra edia na wato na dream because wo be yi wani mpo se wo beka no kre a fight for no na dodo ni nyina to egu so because when him say mpanimfo no wonji wondi bio nti kakra obenye bia obeka na no atuma na obe defend won na wanya ne kakra gi no na okoso oye nti se starti first so ho na ye hu nsesaye ne kakra saa se ne starti ya ebeduru enne no starti first so ho kakra meji di se
All right.
ebe free ho anye saa ebe kakra na agye wa asori mu nyina de o how kese ebe bre a Christopher.
Yo, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it, pa. Yeah, that's it. I have a message from Reverend Kofi again. Also, you are watching us from the Fosu Diocese. This is what he says. This topic is spot on. I remember in UCC, we had free breakfast from SRC presidential aspirants, and I wondered where those money were coming from. Sheila, oh, Kasafi Techiman.
Yo,
Yo, yet you.
I cry sinki.
Yeah, this
No cry woman say. Say politicians are not be a man no kwa. Or mobile with this sort of more lifestyle. Say near my quay was near a costume you buy a class in your money, so they display money. And see, one may be a paramount. What's up, baby? You person the shower. Oh, say there was a whole day. You see, no, make a crack.
Oh, my share.
My mama.
Okay.
Since no, last week I no can say a big sorry mo. Na a would
Hey.
So a would
who are evidence? Who are evidence?
Last week backstage why?
Okay.
Sorry mo top elections. I will hope. And you know, I was a young Christian, so no, we take both steps. Yet to see a win, say, yeah, mouse. Now she has shouldn't pan what he can give, and you're to a banana. Just start it, kakra. I better call mine. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Ain't Peter, not make the Mbeka say, yeah, bumper is a rush, sorry, ain't think I can't hear them pie when you be trapped to say, Rabbi, see a room. I say, me de me who ye dear.
One say,
me be this off with me who say rap sorry, but so now also by my backstage.
And the young Homan on Casa backstage. Area be a chassis, me and Uncle Pim was here, picky. One say, you see what your financiers. Oh, me uncle once that be one say, I'm on your form, be ya, almost say, or display me last person can you display cars. Yeah, Menya Simon, oh, Mammy Simon. Asim for Simon.
Yeah.
Bosso by 30 seconds, 1 minute, be mammy.
Okay. But the more program now, more come up. Everything sham. More be a blentina abanisa. Mpenifo na ewo omemu no omumu biara ni ho a ka no kure nti abase yene dinamfo nso no ya fa ye ho adwen saa na dokoso na me kai me mpe politics na me kase emre bi ase announcement bi ba se ase the oman mu kono ye de ahemfofo no momu na eba babedi eye oman so bibia etesa sengasa policy no se no kure na edwanu no tumi be mo a keno no ebebo apa nti enzo ma den chire na no
okay yo na wo ka financiers yanko
financiers no ono a otuama NDC no otuama MPP de obewini bia
o ye neutral
nti onyi ti se me MPP ni na me NDC ni otwa wie a wa watwe sika na ma wo no I was also just going to go. And what I said, because for ABA, what to be no and a ministerial appointment be, when I go check car coin. Now, Nippon on this kind of also train the car back. I also saw some for so, but then yes, I'm for so. And the one also one our the contracts. Emano, the Kosi school dying. That would one if you are sadly in 20,000 Ghana cities. But bill at the Bano, and I'm 8,000. Wow, I'm telling you. I was saying something to me till 6 frame. I'm not quite car acquaintance. I was saying a DC in frame. I was a party, no, so I was in power. No, you Pessica to Futum. Now, I'm more saying ever be one or man a campaign. And it's a quite car acquaintance. Topete or the bitumen. Car back one or Topetia. No, the Quantre Asa and a mobile. No, I hear so 2 weeks now say. Kona animal research adenta kwami omoya endu even 2 years kra except 2 me kofa odobin a central region omoya within 2 weeks omoya no me kata 2 weeks omoya kwan ko mani mo nye nsi no na ekire ya de etutu China for na be yo but then mo ye wo bi so no sese be kafra I was on so ko approve say kwan ni pana ye no eye consultant wa tro say eye kwan you say fancy yo ekire tutu also say eye ni say obi na atue obi sika ama no I sika na free and yentue ama only MPs no even presidential candidates ni na no omo financiers ebi mo Ghana ha ebi mo eso eni Ghana ha nunti na contract bi ba obo si atama ko mo bi ko Nigeria because me kan di pa betia na bibia ba on for me Nigeria ni na de koma no we sika otu aye we de koma China ni we sika otu aye
manya nanaya one ofrefo a utwa to o kasa fi so edro
yo me da si be of na nia mi se so for bajo de me kasa mo mi sa ko he we se bi de me kwa ma no ni do me nim abuti member bi a omocho aba no ana se omo politics no sa di bi ekoso ho ana sana makama se wada roma
ayo mumpacho mo amakwa brochire da ye bi sama semo
bi sa sa ko no ebro ni o se
mo na amakwa brochire da ye bi sama semo
de na ekoso yi no di kakra so for e mama se o so hu ye ewura sa Orthodox Church you, Pentecostal Church you, asori ameko bi mudi. Na obuso mo regional superintendent na se Ghana nyina so for penny. Ni e pen me fancy e pen asori na president and the vice. Obeje bring sense bribe mo a parliamentarians yi me no. So asofo penny so even asori no kurasi ha baby. Oni ma no se so no. So you to do it oprianya the whole district no passes in numbers. Oh, no man, no afro, no as per the ascend you. A word to just a feeling you remove. Me the meeting business in the poor minimum. Me must have a number of us to be a day. I pass them up.
Right.
Moment in a sad year no. It be a woo, and not some use you in the say, why, yeah, you cook you to go into it. So, me knows here, you know, by your money and another mono. What is the say? You be a step, you mean we. But as
yo, yeah, that's it. I mean, that is rather on a sad note because Asafua, and on a last resort.
Me pese me ko
me
pese me
ko. Me hold the member shand of alcohol.
Me ko ho be hardin. E kwan ya fa so a na nsen last me ka sem bi wa me kan na am say woni me nhyeda anya adwen sa. Be obo say some me ka last a wan je ntum no. The same thing ipe so e dey e kan you. Me ka tira wo say suban bi awura asafo mu e kwan ya fa so e dey fa asofo. Okay so me ka say so. The same thing okay. The same thing okay. I was obi anso na ebeka say de ngokura gusu afa ngo say bra be yo payin no. Obi na aso wo so de ko for his particular interest. Ono for say ono ko pension. And I say was super numeti into a car. I was also to be man kickbacks into a unit favorite. I shall be so no coffee comedy now or to be for sale for crying to mummy. And it sounds to buy a yakasa man of 4 a year. I'm on your phone. On one, I saw them hono. I won't feel saw them one. I'm going to get among yourself. I won't forget when you say almost about sorry them. I want you agree, near suffer among the MPs. You're near suffer among the MPs. And I go for subject a young Christian. Uda Mahama, His Excellency, Onye Christoni. And to Munina, if we are saying, say, party A, party B, Munina, a corrupter, I ain't no free coy, and I saw them one of free coy. Also, for also, I will but more corruption, and what I had doing. And I'm a young kind of Obi to us all the world, the Galam said no, I didn't, or two, but one to me because, or can I say, yeah. What do you mean to assessment? Assessment to the no. Galam said, yeah, everywhere.
It's in the crack. Your last words. The crack, your last words.
You're going to say, say, your possession to bang way in a day, everywhere. Young sign and say, I dreaming. I'm on your phone, answer Embra back. And my church say, in pain, baby, a moko cano munyano. And yes, a car, one can say, Motomus guardian, ato, Obu Lateno. Obi so ho no mo no a e bia loan de money say better kakra e say me bana me say me quota me ntumi nse be enhye e fa ne say t-shirt e fa nkotena parliament e wo say me dada ni say me bana me ko kakra na me de mawa me minim na awo e na me kakra de egu ase so na me je mo je kasa me ko say bia unya wini MP u wini assemblyman ma me ma example mpacho hwe tashi me ma me din ono nkasa wo ne pharmacy ansa no ko di MP na timamufo no so na meti krom ho timamufo no sori a obi yare a na omo de omani a kire ne pharmacy ho se omo ko je aduro free eri ba bi ma me na ntumi anya biom no ye tutia no e so pharmacy no ho ansa na mama me no be di ne adie MP anya MP sika na de ko ye pharmacy no na mo ade said ye ka say counter no they feel say once ya to ba ma no wo fie kura wo di kura hwe ye on paso kura no wo da wo ma ho kwan do come and sleep there
yeah that's it. Yeah, that's it. I think.
And then yeah, oh makasa.
And wakasa.
One for 2 minutes, ma Shandoff.
And wakasa. And then wakasa, mama. Shandoff, has he entered into the church?
Exactly. Let me touch on it briefly. When you look at I can't say it authoritatively, but if you look at the biblical model for the selection of leaders, I want to make reference to Acts chapter 6, when they had to appoint people to perform social roles. This is what verse 3 says. It says, "Wherefore, brethren, look ye out among you 7 men of honest report, full of the Holy Ghost and wisdom, whom we may appoint over this business. But we will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word." It was appointment. Look among yourselves, contemplate, and then give the roles to the people. That was what apostles did. But in our current church structure, especially in the Orthodox churches, now the system of appointment is no longer there. We have imported democracy. So we go for delegates election. My late dad, for example, was a member of the GAMEC, Ghana Methodist Association of Choirs, and all of that. So I've been exposed to those things. I saw their delegates elections and all of that. So one day I was asking him what they are doing. Is it not? How is it different from a partisan delegate election? And for the fact that they are employing that strategy, it means they are towing the lines of democracy. And God actually, in leadership, I don't think God is democratic. It's theocracy all along until the Israelites said that we want Saul, give us. I mean, God was the one who was appointing. He would tell a prophet that go and make this person. But we have imported democracy into the church. And as for democracy, once you import it, these are some of the disadvantages. So I wouldn't mention names, and it is not even about the Methodist church. But there was a particular church where, they were going to elect their national leader, and somebody reached out to me and said he wanted me to, as it were, help one person's campaign, and that I had to write and publish some things to, he said, it's not as if we want to dirty the other person, but we want to show the church who he is. Yes. But of course, what we were exposing was wrong. We are coming into that plane because now we have welcomed democracy, which is really not God's standards. So as for the church, as for that one, and it is becoming an issue. And this monetization and all of that, it happens. Oh yes, it happens. In the church. It happens. Wow. I'm just careful. I don't want to cite. I just don't want to cite. I am saying
anyway, our time is up. Our time is up. On that note,
I want to wish somebody.
Oh, wish, please go ahead. Yes.
Aniasa Stella, she's watching from the Parliament of Ghana, so I'm just saying happy birthday to her.
All right. The name again?
Stella Aniasa.
Okay. Is she a Methodist?
She said she's a Catholic. Okay. But right now she has gone to this. How do we call it? Sorry, and those.
All right, but she's watching our show,
exactly.
and I mean that makes me happy. People think it's only Methodists who watch WT, but we're happy that somebody who is at the Parliament, and because of the interest for this show, she is watching. Please mention her name again.
Stella Aniasa.
All right. Yeah. All right. So Stella, wherever you are, we know Parliament aspects. We don't know which office. God bless you. Keep watching and let your comments come.
The second, oye nkonya urupon, omahene. Okay. Oni na hemfo nyina, omene ahemia fo nyina, mu nyina me good morning and obey.
All right. Eti eyo papa ye okase ye friend Peter Wonders. Oye lecture ewo AUCC. Afi so ye bra Shandoff. Pakwesi ne papa film. Inti na washe Blackie this Friday and Saturday and Sunday at Macedonia. Yeah, all those who can come and support us pass through, we will be waiting for. I will be there to support. Crazy condolence and thank you for coming. Sure. We are not gone. We are going to the field of play. Agro, osede, wasode, eja.